What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it has been a while. Hopefully you saw the last video, which was introducing the BMW. I will say that was filmed a few weeks ago, and here we are after No Star Bash, and you're probably wondering where I've been. What have I been doing? I bought a new car. Why? You might have saw that video. Hope you did. If you haven't, go check it out. It'll explain some things about why I got the BMW. But I didn't make a video on No Star Bash. Honestly, I just wanted to drive. It was so crazy to get to No Star Bash. I'm gonna have to explain this to you. So let's just take a second here and talk about my road to No Star Bash. Okay, the 240's not done. You know that. I know that. I hate to admit it. It just didn't get done. I tried. I worked hard, but we weren't getting it done. So with weeks till the event, I had to make a decision: drift the G35, not drift, or try to find a cheap car. So I started looking for a cheap car because the backup was going to be drift to G35, but it had its own issues with trying to find wheels because I don't have 17-inch wheels for all the 17-inch tires. Either way, whatever. That was the last ditch effort. If we were going to go drift, we were going to take the G35. So I started looking for something. 240s are too overpriced. There's no way. I was looking for an E46. I used to have one. I love the car. I thought it would be a great, you see them drifting now. They're a very popular chassis. But then I started thinking about E36. So yeah, I just looked and looked and looked, and I found the BMW. You know, it's a convertible, really weird, because kind of looking for a coupe. Thought it'd be cool, maybe even a 4-door, but we got a convertible. Whatever. Doesn't have a title, that sucks, but whatever, drift car. You know, so we found it and everything like that. I was like, sweet, it's meant to be good to go. It came with tires, extra parts. We were set. We were going drifting No Star Bash. All I had to do was change some fluids, put in a fire extinguisher, tidy up a few things. We're good to go. Yeah, no. Ended up, the head gasket was blown and the head's cracked. You know what? We still sent it. Who cares? Whatever. I slapped the head gasket set on there in like 3 days the weekend before No Star Bash. So, you know, I had plumb in an overflow tank because it didn't have one, had a janky cooling system set up, a bunch of stuff bypassed, just janky. 3 of the drive shaft bolts weren't tightened. The drive shaft didn't even meet up to the differential flange. It needed machine, so I had to grind that down and measure it to get it to made up flush to the differential. That was sketchy as shit. I had to swap in a welded diff, which actually turned out that the pinion bearing was bad in one of the diffs, so then I had to pull the guts apart and disassemble, reassemble differentials, get them all back in there. So it was a crazy road to No Star Bash, but we made it. We went drifting 2 days. The car survived 2 days. It still has, you know, still sips a little bit of coolant, but I mean, it's cracked head and stuff, but it makes decent power, even with the Vanos not hooked up, because my dumbass, I hooked up the wrong wires. Anyways, so yeah. Vanos wasn't working properly, but we drifted 2 days. 2 solid days of drifting. We showed up 5 o'clock on Friday and drifted until 8 o'clock on Saturday. It was blast. You know, it took a lot for me to learn the car. I'll be honest, I'm used to an S chassis. The weight of the car, the stock suspension with Jakey suspension, it was just all crap. Yeah, body rollout. Anyways, it was fun, and that's what I wanted. I got out there, got to see my friends, a lot of people I haven't seen in years, and I got to get sideways. Got up on the wall a couple times, pretty close, probably the closest I've ever been because it's a car I didn't really care about too much. Popped the tire, ended up cracking and popping the rear bumper off, whatever, you know, who cares. It was a blast. So, what, you're probably sitting here, it's been like probably 3 minutes, and you're like, what's the point of this video? Here's the point of the video. If you've seen the thumbnail, it looks like I bought a bunch of shit, and that's right, I did. So, the 240, I have some things lined up. The 29th of June through the 10th of July, I'm off work. I went ahead and cashed in some vacation time for the 4th of July weekend. It cost me 30 hours of leave so that I could have that week off, which gives me from Thursday night till the following Monday or whatever, 10 days later, that I don't have to be at work. Yes! So, I'm going to try to get stuff done on 240. Am I going to get it done? No. But if I could get the front suspension all done, the rear end dropped, the rear suspension done, put back in, and then maybe the brake lines and fuel lines ran, I'd be in good shape, because then all I have to do is drop the motor in and stuff. I don't know. I'm not even going to really, I'm going to have to sit down and make a list of what I need to do to try to prioritize and get it done. But that's for the 240. In the meantime, I'm going to denote maybe 1 or 2 days of that starting today, this is obviously, it's the 23rd, so that's still next week until I'm off. Throughout this week, I'm going to try to freshen up the BMW because it started thumping, the suspension sucks, I got a left lollipop installed flipped upside down on the right side because, once again, sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. So, what do I have? I'll show you. Now, I'm sorry for the wind, but I'm outside and everything, obviously. So here we have, thank you, huge shout out to Condor Speed Shop. No discount, I purchased all this with my own money, but they have great looking products that I'm really excited to try. So we have some, this actually came from SCP Euro. We have some Technofit brake lines because a couple mine are old and cracking, and so we got new ones to replace those. So the thumping, I'm probably pretty sure is the differential bushings, so we got solid differential bushings. We got offset lollipop bushings. We got differential bushings. We got toe adjusting offset trailing arm bushings. We got strut mount reinforcement plates. We got subframe reinforcement plates. We got trailing arm bracket reinforcement plates. We got some drive shaft bolts because God only knows I need those. And then we got these washers. I don't know where they go yet. I'm sure I'll find out and figure that out, but we got some washers. So we got all this stuff. Oh, and we got a new lollipop because, like I said, I have a left lollipop installed on the right side because sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. So I told myself, if somehow the BMW lives through this weekend and I figure out its shortcomings and what's its main problems, I'll buy some parts. Which sucks because, you know, hey, buy some stickers. Help a brother out. Support the channel. Helps me fund these projects and stuff so we can, you know, make content and have fun drifting and stuff like that. I would be very appreciative if you picked up a sticker. Still got them. ClutchKickerNation.bigcartel.com. Grab yours now. Whatever. Let me know. Yeah. But, so, the thumping and all that, you know, I kind of noticed where the car had a lot of problems. And so we got some parts to basically set the foundation for this car. Because, what's this right here? There we go. What's this right here? That's a 2JZ GE out of an MK4 Supra. Rear sumped and everything. Wiring harness, all I need is a MAF and ECU. And guess what that's going in? I'm just Jay-Z and everything. I love the non-turbo idea for the beater cars because they're cheaper, they're reliable, and they make decent power for doing what I want to do. Now this car needs more power, the one that's buried in here. So, you know, I'd like to go 1J or something. If you want an SR20 swap, hit a brother up. I'll cut you a deal like probably like $3,500. There's a lot of details to it, but you know, a whole swap, ECU, tranny, you know, 20G, blah blah blah. I'm thinking about selling it, but if you're really interested, DM me, whatever, hit me up. But so I also got, and you're gonna love it, some more max peating rods. That's right. You know, hey, this is the budget drift build BMW. I've already spent more money than I ever thought I would, but it kind of deserves it, and I like the chassis, so I'm gonna invest a little bit into it. So with the mounts and all that stuff, I went top shelf. You know, Condor Speed Shop, great products and everything. The coilovers, we're gonna go with the bottom of the barrel. They're adjustable. They're 220 bucks off of Amazon. And they've been great on the Civic and Integra now, so I'm pretty happy with the max feeding rods. They ride pretty good, they're stiff, they are bumpy, but they're not bouncy, and it feels better, period. So they will be better than the cut springs, blown shit that is on the car now. So, got a set of those inside the house. I didn't show them to you. I'll make a whole nother video on installing those, whatever. But today, we're gonna try to get this car like kind of torn apart. I don't expect to get everything out, but we're going to be taking the rear end out of the car, subframe and everything, because one, we're going to be changing subframe bushings, differential bushings, trailing arm bushings, welding and reinforcement plates. Sounds like a lot, but I've done this once before, so, well, not on this car, but on my E46, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So I'm going to get set up, I'm going to get some things going, and I'll share with you as I get some work done. We're going to try to get the wheels off, we're going to try to get the brakes off, we're going to try to get, I don't know, just random stuff, maybe the rear struts out, the suspension out. We're just going to, you know, try to do something. So, yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, so here's underneath the car. And as you can see, it's not in bad shape, because like I said, it is a Texas car, so it's really not too rusty or anything. So what we got to do here is we're going to leave the differential and everything inside the subframe. and we're gonna lower the subframe. So we're gonna have to pull this Jakey exhaust. We're gonna go ahead and pull the rear struts. We're gonna have to take the wheels off and get the brake calipers off, and everything like that. So yeah, I just kind of, let's see, trailing arm will come off over here. So the trailing arm is going to come off right there. It looks like I had some kind of bushings in there at one point. I don't know, there's some kind of polyurethane hang around in there, so we'll see once we get her out. But we got new bushings for that. The axles are new, which is nice. I actually just put this welded in, but I picked up a 3.91 automatic differential for this because this is the 3.15, so that should give us some fake horsepowers. It's kind of not too bad. Looks like 4 main subframe bolts, 4 bolts on the drive shaft, lower strut mount bolt, and then I think there's 3 bolts or maybe 4 bolts on the trailing arm. Looks like 3 bolts on there. Those are probably 18s. This is probably 18 or 17, 17 or 18. Pretty much everything's going to be like a 17 or an 18. We'll drop it all as one unit. Most of my e-brake cables can come out because I'm going to do a hydro and they're not working anyways. All right, guys, so we got this side all torn apart and everything like that. We got our caliper hanging up there off of the strut mounting hole and everything, because you never want to let these, you know, basically let the weight of these just hold up by the brake hose. Even though we have new SS, you know, stainless steel brake hoses, I still, you know, it's just kind of what I'm used to doing. But I was right, there was some kind of like polyurethane thing, maybe a, you know, trailing arm bushing limiter or something installed. It obviously doesn't look like it's doing its job, but we got some good stuff going in there. So pretty much now that I got this side all apart and I kind of understand what I need to do, I will show you on the other side what needs to come out, where to do it, what to do, whatever. So it will help you. All right, be back. All right, guys, so with your 18mm, we're gonna take off this strut, lower strut mounting bolt. I would support it with a jack. That way the spring's gonna force it down and you wanna be able to control it. So we're gonna take this out. Like so. While we're down here, we're going to take off the trailing arm bolts as well. Alright, now with our trailing arm disconnected and our lower strut mount disconnected, we're going to get rid of this shock, which I'm going to try to do one-handed. Alright, now our coil spring's out of the way. Our trailing arm's disconnected with our bogus blown out trailing arm bushings or whatever those were. I have no idea, but those are junk. So now we have to disconnect the caliper, disconnect the strut and everything like that. So I'll show you real quick. Underneath these rubber grommet covering plates, which I don't, oh, here it is. So underneath this will sit here like so or whatever and cover this. You pop this off and then you got access to your strut. So I'll go ahead and take these 2 13mm bolts or nuts out and then the strut will drop. Looks like my plans may be getting delayed here because of the weather moving in. So far I'm making pretty good progress and everything on this removal of the subframe and everything, but the sky's getting a little gray. I'm not sure if I should stop here or keep pushing. I really hope I don't get rained on. I got stuff everywhere. I kind of should maybe take a second and clean up. I don't know, but we're gonna keep pushing through for just a minute longer so I can kind of show you guys some more stuff real quick. So next, now we want to take off the caliper. There's 2 15mm bolts, one here and one down below it, that need to come out to get the bracket off. And then, but we gotta pull these caps off to actually unbolt the caliper from the caliper bracket. These little caps have to come off. And then there's an Allen key in there. I believe it's a 7mm. Hold on. All right, now we got the caliper bolts off. The caliper should be able to come free of the actual bracket if I were to pull these out all the way. So this is your brake pad sensor. It's clipped into the brake pad right there. So normally this one doesn't want to, so we'll wait and get the actual caliper off before disconnecting that. It's just usually shoved onto the pad. Actually, I think it pushes one direction. I'll have to look at it. It's been a minute since I've had to deal with this, but it basically just clips onto your brake pad and rides like it's like a magnet. And when it gets close to the rotor, it knows you're low on brake pads. Get that clip off. Now you'll be able to remove the caliper. Kind of need 2 hands. All right, with your brake pad out, you can kind of see what I was talking about, how it's the sensor in here. This one has been in here for a while. It should just come out. This one's kind of been in for a while, so it doesn't really want to come out, but it should just pop right out, like so. We have to remove the two 10mm bolts on the trailing arm down here. That will allow us to move the caliper, gently try to feed it underneath the axle in between the lower control arm to bring it over here so we can suspend it from the strut mount without causing any damage to the lines or anything, and that way we don't have to disconnect the brake lines right now. Alright guys, now that the caliper bracket's removed and the caliper is suspended out of the way, we're going to go ahead and take our 6 and we're going to remove this screw right here, and then we're going to remove the rotor. Alright, now we got it off. Yeah, I can't really show you anything fantastic because like the other side, this side has been gutted of the factory e-brake, which is fine because we're going hydro, so I'm not worried about it. I already kind of knew. So yeah, down here is your cable that's sticking out there. We're going to basically find a way to pull that out of the trailing arm so we can ditch this whole e-brake cable in itself. Alright guys, with everything disconnected, we got the drive shaft disconnected and everything from the differential, so now we're down to the 4 subframe bolts. So, you know, obviously we got it suspended with a jack. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the bolts. We'll lower it down a little bit, disconnect some wires, and then hopefully I didn't miss anything, and we'll be able to get this thing out tonight, which would be awesome because it's only been like an hour and a half. This has been really easy to get out, so we'll see how this goes. Now lowered and everything, we can get to those wires right there and disconnect those wires. So we're going to pull this cover out, pull these wires out, and see, looks like both of them are going to have to be disconnected, so I'll get these disconnected. Alright, so part of the issue, and partly why I might have heard a thump, is it looks like those bolts are loose, which is definitely not good. So it's kind of part of the problem right now is that they're not mounted into the body. Both of them are like that, so I'm trying to get this off there without ripping those out of the car, because the only other option I would have right now is to try to tighten them back up with the subframe hanging like this. So I'm just trying to work it all out evenly and everything. So let me go ahead and gingerly get this out. You kind of see the process. She's ready to come out. I just gotta be careful so I don't rip those studs out because they just screw into the unibody, and that's part of what we're gonna be reinforcing and everything. So yeah, I'm just going to slowly get it out, and I need to kind of move around and the camera's in my way, so I'll bring it back when I get her out. All right guys, there she is, all removed and everything like that. Wasn't too bad. Got hung up on the front subframe mount bolts, but no worries. So we got stuck on these a little bit and everything. They were a little loose, surprisingly, so that could have been part of the issue as to why I heard some thumping when I was drifting. But we got the reinforcement plates and everything, so we'll take these out. We'll get this all cleaned up. We'll do the reinforcement here, here, and here. And then the trailing arm bucket area as well. We'll get all that reinforced. The good thing is, like I said, it's a Texas car, and just from a quick eye, there's a little bit of surface rust, but there's no serious rust or anything, which is awesome that this car is pretty damn clean in terms of chassis, you know, unibody wise. Unlike the 240, for being a 95, it's in pretty good shape, and if we're fixing it now, we'll be catching any of the problems ahead of time. So extremely excited. Like I said, she did good. She deserved to be spoiled a little bit and get a few new parts, so we're gonna get her cleaned up. So I'm just gonna lay here and relax for a few seconds because that was quite an endeavor. But it only took an hour to 2 hours with dicking around a little bit. So that's going to wrap up step 1 of the E36 refresh, mild little refresh and reinforcement series. So please like, share, subscribe the video. Cop a sticker, help support the build, support my channel, all the builds, everything. I still need to get to the RX-8. I know there's probably some of you guys that might have been waiting, wondering why I haven't done anything to that. But that's going to be a more in-depth process, and I really wanted to get it in the garage to work on instead of working on it outside the garage like I'm doing with the E36. And until the 240 is done, which, like I said, I'm taking a week off work to work on it, try and knock a bunch of stuff out. So look forward to that. That'll be coming up here in a week or so. So once 240 is done, we'll try to get the RX-8 in there, get the engine pulled, and try to start fitting the 2JZ in there and see what happens. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Later!